Welcome into ESPN Chattanooga. We are sitting down with a conversation now with a man who many of you know if you're a high school basketball fan in this area. He spent 4 seasons with the East Hamilton Hurricanes, in which his teams were pretty damn good. They scored 70 points in 43% of their games. He had no overall record of 73-39. The former head basketball coach for East Hamilton High School on the boys' side, Andy Webb, is here with us. Andy, thanks so much for spending some time and being with us this afternoon. You stepped down here recently over these last couple of weeks, but I wanted to get into, first and foremost, what led to the decision to you stepping down after a very successful run as the head boys basketball coach.
Well, hey, Greg, first of all, thanks for having me. Man, you're one of the best. I enjoy coming on always, and you're just a guy that gets kids and coaches and the whole business. So I appreciate you having me on, first of all.
Of course.
The decision to step down was obviously a really tough one. So a lot of conversations with my wife and those really close to me. Ultimately, I think the decision came because as a head coach, something I've learned is, when you go home, sometimes it's easy as an assistant coach, but as a head coach, you just can't turn your mind off. You just can't turn it off sometimes. And the last year or two, my kids, I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and you're missing a lot of Archie, the 6-year-old's, my son, his events, and not being able to get him to events. And my wife's just going as hard as she can both ways. And my 4-year-old, she had some things come up, some doctor's appointments. We have some things that I've had to put off and miss. And there's just a lot of things as a dad. I think ultimately you have some guilt. With the kids here in the program, Greg, I mean, they're, as a head coach, and there's a lot of great head coaches out there, but ultimately you just care to impact their life. And that's what you really want to do. And you put them first a lot of times. It's great for them and great for you. You build those relationships, but sometimes you go home, I think, and the last couple of years it's really weighed on me just to be present and be there and impact my own kids. And I told the kids when I stepped down that my players, that was one of the hardest parts, is talking to them, and they were so supportive, and the parents here and administration. I mean, it was unbelievable the support I got. But just told them that they were like my own. But I do have 2 at home that. These are the years I've worked with a lot of coaches, Greg, a lot of great, much better coaches than myself when I was an assistant. And these are the years it seemed like they could never get back over the next 8 to 10 year stretch. And, I'm 41 and have 2 young kids, and I was an assistant for a long time. And, I'm pretty good at burning myself out sometimes. A lot of it my fault, but I'll tell you, really it just came down to just time and just being present, to be honest, for me. So that was hard to, have your heart one place and your mind another place sometimes.
Yeah, I got you. And when it comes to this opportunity that you had here at East Hamilton, was this your first head coaching job? Because I know you were at Science Hills there for a while, right?
Yes. And I was very fortunate to be in a great program and learn a lot at Science Hill. I was there for 10 years. Did everything from freshman to JV, and I was a head assistant for a long time. Under one of the winningest active coaches in the state, maybe the winningest now. And so I just saw the future to get a head coaching job. I interviewed a lot of places, and this was the place that I thought we could really continue to build into something more like that. So moved to Chattanooga 4 years ago. Really had just build a program. The principal sat down with me in interviews and multiple interviews, and they had a lot of great candidates. And he said he really wanted they've had collections of talent, really wanted a program. And the things with the kids and the coaches I hired, I moved here with no assistants. I got here, there were only 3 players in the gym when I got here in July, and had to find kids to come out and really built, started a freshman team, built a team room, up to the huddle cameras in the gym. The brought in a booster club account to help with travel. So all the things we did, from the kids cleaning locker rooms to their time on the floor to the students they were off the court. I mean, I owe so much to the kids and the parents and assistants, just the way this program was built. But yeah, I mean, long answer long. This is 4 years as the head coach, and I was a long-time assistant before that.
Andy Webb again, hanging with us here on ESPN Chattanooga, and obviously you're stepping away at 41 years old. Is this something? Is basketball? Does it feel like your basketball journey is done right now, or do you think there's more of your life that you want to give to this game and to teach kids and things like that? Where are you in terms of your basketball journey?
Well, that's a great question. And, I've been asked that over the last 2 weeks. My phone just, dies every day, and thankful to see that you made an impact and have so many high school and collegiate level and coaches and friends and, preachers, everybody just in the community reach out. They've asked that question, a lot of people, Greg. But yeah, so right now it does seem to me that coaching is in the past, to be honest. Now, you never say never. I think it's something if my kids get into, if it's the right fit here or somewhere else one day. I'm not looking to be anywhere around basketball right now, to be honest, and just have other priorities. But yeah, I mean, I never say never. So maybe one day, I mean, still pretty young in the coaching world. There could, the game evolves so much. I mean, I love to watch basketball. I think, you read a lot of Phil Jackson or different coaches' books, and the way Coach K, they clear their mind is getting away sometimes. And, I'm not those guys, but I think for any coach that really grinds and can get a one-track mind and be very just burnout, just as far as just pushing so hard and wanting things to be perfect. I think sometimes you can grow away from the game. So I'll never say, that I won't pick up a clipboard again and coach, because who knows down the road in any level or any capacity or role, it could be an option. I mean, who knows? So.
Yeah, I got you. And did you use a clipboard? Did you actually use a clipboard, or was that just sort of a metaphor?
Yeah. Well, the coaching dry erase board was one I used a lot. Yeah. So just a diagram and timeouts. But yeah, I mean, I've done everything from the iPad on the bench, the stat and the assistant coach, to get up to the dry erase board, I guess, when you're a head coach. So yeah, absolutely. I think I only broke it one time in 14 years. So. and I've only
That's
got
pretty good if you've only broken it one time.
Yeah. And I was bragging the other day. I was talking to a guy, he longtime college coach, and he was laughing. He was talking about, I'm pretty mellow on the sidelines, and he's like, I've never seen you get a technical. So I think I've had 2 or 3 career technicals, I think, in 14 years. So I don't, and those were undeserved, of course. So
of course, no, absolutely. I mean, you're a very mild-mannered, gentleman-like human being. I can't imagine you ever, deserving a technical for anything that you've ever done. But again, we're hanging with Andy Webb here, formerly of East Hamilton High School boys basketball head coach. He's still there with East Ham, and we're going to get into what's next now after basketball. But as you've sat there, it's been a couple of weeks now, and just reflecting back on your time as the head basketball coach here at East Ham, what really stands out to you the most when you think about your 4 years here with this program and getting an opportunity, a very unique opportunity to lead it and have as much success as you were able to have?
Yeah, Greg, the thing that stands out most is the relationships with the kids, with my players, former players that I'm usually too busy now to go watch play at the collegiate level. And I'm hoping to do more of that down the road. My relationships with my assistant coaches, just godly men that wanted to lead kids. And just, I told the team when I resigned, I mean, and it was a tough day, but you guys have seen me at my worst. You guys have seen me at absolute best, but I'm absolute worst, just like a family. And at the end of the day, I hope what we made was a Christ-centered impact for you guys, and to be better fathers and men. Not perfect. I mean, but just to do the right
Nobody's
things.
perfect.
Absolutely, yeah. Just do the right things, Greg, and represent your community in a good way. So those relationships is what I will think of. Those are you remember the good. I think sometimes a position, and there was a lot of good, but that was the best part I'll remember. And I think that's what we're most proud of. Just trying to instill, principles and beliefs, and just on and off the court. Just the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So just doing things the right way in a respectful nature, to represent yourself in the best possible way. That's really what we tried to do, and do it with our heart. And that's the main reason I've stepped down, is because if I'm not 100% in it, I would not come in and try to lead these kids, because I think knowing me, they'd see through that pretty quickly. So those relationships, Greg, is the number one thing that we're most proud of, and that we'll take with us.
What was your favorite moment from getting an opportunity to coach here at East Hamilton? Obviously you had the district championship a couple of years ago, and dealing with a lot of injuries and adversity last year. But what sort of stands out to you the most? I'm sure you've sort of thought back on a lot of different moments that you had over these last 4 years.
Yeah, and that's starting to come to me a little bit too. We've had some really good moments. The kids, I think, ultimately, signing at the next level, those signing days where they're going to play college, kids that one didn't play the year before, the sophomore in high school didn't play the year before, but just some of the kids that have put in so much work, and just the time we spent together, those kids growing on and off the court, and to see them sign on the collegiate level was pretty cool. Also, we had a big win my first year. The defending state champs hadn't lost at home in a couple years, Bearden High School, and we were a 500 team. We weren't, really supposed to be that good, but we went on the road on a back-to-back night to Bearden High School, and probably the best student section in the state of Tennessee. And a sophomore at the time, Cade Pendleton, kind of coming out, runs streaks down the court on a release play on a press break, and throws it over him and catches it, and we throw it to him, and he dunks real hard and runs by the student section, yelling, "Sit down." He wasn't a vocal kid, but yells, "Sit down," the whole student section. We were so fun. Yeah, and just we were just, man, we'd go on the road, and we just let everything hang out. And then last year we had a really good one of the few teams in the history of the Arby's Classic tournament in Bristol, Tennessee. We went in the first round game. We were one of the few Tennessee teams to win a first round matchup, and we went in against Team Bahamas, Tabernacle Bahamas, and won in front of the 8,000 people, and that was a pretty fun memory. So yeah, we've had some the district championships. There were a couple. There's some really fun memories we've had, but I'd say ultimately it's watching those kids grow and their parents come, and them signing the next level, and just the excitement of seeing a kid go to college for whatever it is. Those are the best memories I think I'll cherish the most.
Again, we're hanging with Andy Webb here on ESPN Chattanooga, and you have, from an article I was reading, you had 6 guys that got an opportunity in your 4 years here to go play at the next level of college ball, and that's got to be one of the most rewarding things, as you were just kind of illuminating and talking about, of letting these kids, helping them grow to get to that next level, and hopefully teaching them a couple of things along the way. So again, awesome opportunity there. Now, you mentioned you're going to stay at East Hamilton, you're going to be teaching and whatnot. Remind me again, what are you teaching?
So right now it's personal finance and physical education, So do some wellness.
I could
classes.
use a lesson in both of those.
Well, and so it's a great place to teach, and the future. Who knows? I'm one of those guys. I get excited to be in the classroom, excited to be, if it's in the gym or in the classroom. I really enjoy it. So just be a teacher, and support the next guy. They're going to bring in. I've heard there's a lot of great candidates, and conducting interviews. So bring in a really good coach, and just be as supportive as I can for the kids without stepping on anyone's toes, and just help any way I can with all sports and activities, and honestly get to know some students and relationships that you don't get to talk to every day. There's a lot of great kids here. We have great administration, and just get to help out in areas I probably didn't have the time to reach out before.
All right, here's my last one for you, Coach, and
Yeah.
I'm still going to call you Coach, so don't think I'm not going to do that. But when you think about having all of this time, and you mentioned, obviously you stepping away for family, matters, and wanting to be more with your kids and your wife and things like that, and just be around family. But outside of that, because that's all well and good, but outside of that, what is Andy Webb looking forward to having time to do outside of family stuff, now that you're not going to have practices and games and worrying about, doing all these different things? What are you looking forward to now doing that you didn't have time to do before?
Well, it's funny. My wife, she'll probably send me back to coaching in a couple months if it's up to her, because she tried to. We had a little battle over cleaning the house this weekend. So yeah,
oh boy.
That's cleaning the house is not what I'm looking at. But no, what I'm looking forward to the most, I would say, is just getting back to, if it's playing pickup basketball or going out to the golf course, or picking up if it's tennis or whatever, just getting out. And doing kind of rediscovering your life a little bit, I'll tell you, I may get back into fantasy baseball. I was a pretty tough fan. I was won a fantasy baseball championship or two here and there, and just getting back to having time to, just turn off the everyday grind and just open up to other interests. That's a great question, really, Greg. I had a former assistant last Saturday. He asked me to go to the Nuggets Suns game in Denver for the weekend, and we didn't end up going. It was a Saturday morning, and we had baseball, East Brainerd Baseball League, and he had a friend up there we could stay with, and just going to watch that matchup would have been fun. Just as a spectator. This last weekend, I was supposed to go to New Jersey. My brother-in-law was in UFC 288. And he ended up, he's 15th in the world, and he was one of the main events up there at Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. And he ended up, unfortunately, hurting his knee with a kick in practice, and had to pull out 3 weeks ago. So I just sold my tickets. But just watching him, traveling across the country, watching some of my college players play basketball, and maybe, who knows, getting out to the golf course and trying to learn to play a little golf like you, Greg.
Hey, I was just going to say, you want to jump out there at some point, let's go. Let's do it now that you have the time. Now, I just have to find the time with my coaching schedule now during the spring. This is the busy time for me. I was lucky not to have a tournament last weekend, so I could get away to go play a little golf. But, Andy, man, it's always good to chop it up with you, my friend. Always good to see you, and thanks for jumping on, spending a little time with us here on ESPN Chattanooga, and good luck to everything else that you're getting into outside of coaching and basketball. Again, never say never. I know you love the game. You have a very good, a big passion for it, but I'm glad that you made the decision, and your family's going to get a chance to spend a little bit more time with you, because you're a fantastic person, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thanks, Greg. Same to you, man, and good luck with the show. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for having us on.